All right. Yeah. So again, apologies for starting late the recording. You just the onus. Quickly, can you say who you are?
My name is Jonas Jimenez. I'm the education director.
Okay, and I'm Antonio Ponte. Excuse some of the noise. I'm in a room that's unfortunately is occupied, but my name is Antonio Ponte. I'm Director of Education and Career Services, and this is our third in a series of 6 family academies educating parents on all the high school choice that they have. With that, Jeffrey, if you can introduce yourself, and we'll start the ball rolling.
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Fisher. I am the education director at the Boys Club of New York. Very happy to be a part of this process. I think the Family Academy series is wonderful and extremely informative for our partners, our parents, our families, and very relevant for the people who are joining and those beyond. So thank you for joining us today. And my hope is that everyone walks away more informed than they were when they joined this call.
Perfect, thank you. So the onus, if you can start the event. I always the actor in me said show, but if you can start introducing our first speaker, especially from Queens.
Of course. So long time partner here in advocating for Catholic schools. Has been attending our Boys Club workshops as early as 2017. Some of our inaugural events in the HSA department were led by Ms. Schaefer, admissions director over at St. Francis Prep, the largest Catholic school. And both of her daughters, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, also graduated from St. Francis Prep, as well as she herself graduated from St. Francis Prep. So long time history and advocate of the amazing work that is being done at the institution. And without further ado.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much for its time to speak. I love being here to talk about Catholic schools. Like my introduction stated, I've been within the Catholic schools. This will be next year, will be my 30th year of physically working there. I went there myself. Just to give you a little background, I'm a person of Catholic school who never wanted to go to Catholic high school. I wanted to go to a specialized high school, but my mother believed in Catholic education. So, and back then she also had a few children and wanted us all in the same school. Same thing to my children, where I made them take part as well. So what makes St. Francis Prep such a great place is that it is just, it has everything in one building. It is the largest private Catholic high school in all of the U.S. It is over 2,400 students, just so you know. And like Antonio said, a lot of people don't realize what these schools have to offer. So what makes us so special is we go by these 4 golden links, which is, the intellectual, the social, the spiritual, the physical. So in intellectual, we have science programs. We just opened up again now, finally after COVID, our internship program with Presbyterian Hospital is opening up this July. We have an art program with 26 plus electives. We have a music program that we have 11 ensembles. We have business, we have computers. And then we also have, of course, AP and college credit. We have over 30 college credit classes. We also have we have the 20 AP classes right now as well. Our graduating class this year, which is the smallest class we've had in a while because it's a class right after COVID, they earned over $170 million in academic scholarship to a variety of colleges within the U.S. and abroad. And we are very well known for how our students are prepared. So our students going to college, not taking any kind of remedial, they are very well prepared. In my 29 years there, that's one of my questions I always ask my alumni: were you prepared for high school? And they will always tell me, most definitely. They'll actually tell me that the time and the management and the organization made college very easy for them. Of course, the new different work and the different things that they're studying, which I'm amazed at some of the stuff that they actually go into, is what the difficult part is. But and the colleges themselves like our students just the fact that they are very well prepared. So we are located, I don't know if everybody knows where we're located, but we're not too far from the Flushing campus of we are located in Fresh Meadows, 6100 Francis Lewis Boulevard, right off the LIE. We are also a school that our building opens up at 6:30 with security on staff. We've had security now in our school for over 25 years, if not more. I should say over 30 years. I keep saying 25, but I'm almost there 30, so they've been there over 30 years. We also, so that's our intellectual. We are a community that also believes that students should have a social part of high school, which is very important to us. So we have over 50 clubs and activities every year. I can't even name them all, but I will put in the chat to everybody our website so that you can physically go to our website, see all the clubs that we have. But we go to we have anything from our book club, speech, debate, and public speaking. We have rock band. We have a math club. We have chess team. We have clubs for mental health. We have pre-med club. Whatever you could think of. And if there's not a club there, you can always create one yourself. You just have to go through the director of activities. I mean, we have student government. We also have events like our Spirit Week, our Holy Day, which is in October. There's so many different things that we do just to make sure that there's enough spirit within the school. The physical aspect, we have over 40 sports teams. So athletics is very important to us. The problem with not the problem, it's not all. One of our things that we find that some students do not like, but we make sure it's very important, is that all our children are scholar athletes. We have a very high bar for our athletes. So if you do not pass your class, one class, you're on probation with the team, but two, the administration then pulls you because you need to be passing your grades. In our school, 75 is passing. Some people think that's odd that 75 is passing, but for us, we are a college preparatory school. 75 is considered a 2.0 pretty much in college. And we want to make sure that when you go to college, you're able to keep up to that pace. So that is why it's important that we've always remained that for all the years. Our school, just so you know, is reaching its 160th year. It's 50 years actually in Queens at the end of this year. But we have 40 teams and everything imaginable. We do not have wrestling or rugby, but everything else from golf, bowling, football, soccer, track, all seasons. We've won all the championships in track. We've won the championship for boys basketball. We've won all 4 championships for soccer. We've won the championship in girls lacrosse. We have won diving. We have won, I'm trying to think everything else that we've done. We're still doing golf right now. We have step squad. We have whatever you can think of that. On top of that, we want to make sure that as much as we're getting your mind, we want to make sure you're taking your body into consideration. So we have students who may not want that whole part of doing a sport and that big commitment. So we actually have intramurals every season that we do, but we also have a beautiful fitness center where you can work out in the mornings or afternoons, and we have faculty members on staff there as well during that time. And then, of course, we're the spirituals. So we are a Catholic school. Not everybody here is Catholic, but we do have religion as a class period. We do our prayers every morning. We have our seasonal holidays. So we do have students who are non-Catholic there. We just ask that they just respect our religion, stand up when we stand, and that as well. But I think in all religions, no matter what it is, morality and empathy is part of it. And I think that's one of the qualities about Catholic education that really works well, is that we are a true community. So it brings us all together. The kids, they love being there. I mean, they don't want to go home, which is a great thing to say about a school. I do 2 programs after school, and I have a lot of kids who help me with a variety of other things, and they're always there. It's an amazing place to go where people are happy. They love to be smart, and they like to succeed, and they watch their dreams come true, and I love watching them grow. We do have an open house in October. It's usually the Saturday after Columbus Day. I'm not sure the date. I think it's the 19th of October. But we do have different programs during the summer, during all through. We do tours every week. We call them look-ins. For our 8th graders, we open up what's called buddy days. So you can apply for a buddy day and spend a day with us, and we match you up with someone that you may know or someone that has similar likes, and you do a whole day with us. In other schools, a lot of times they call them shadow days. We consider you a buddy. We also do a program for parents just to explain the process. So if you need a little bit more support after Chris speaks here about Catholic schools and how to apply, we have that. And then we do have a great tax prep course that we offer as well for 8th graders. Some in the summer, I'm not sure if it's closed yet in the summer, but we also have it in the fall. And we also offer some great week-long camps for students in elementary and junior high just to come see our schools. So we have that all on our website, which I think I put in the chat, but everybody definitely can reach out to me. I'll put my contact information there as well. I'm trying to think. So how would you take it? I'm going to just go a little bit into this, but we look at the tax test to get into our school. We try to tell everybody to please take that tax test because that's the best way to get into our school. It's a test that's given out the first weekend in November. The registration opens up end of August, around end of August for that. But it helps you get placed in the correct classes, but also gets you honors classes if you want to take it. But the last 3 years, our school has closed. So that means that we don't, we have no more rooms. So like we have a waiting list started, and I wish I could have a seat for everybody, but we just don't. We take about 625 to 650 students. So we're up, our cap is 650 and we are up to that. Our tuition for next year, I believe, is $10,900. And we do break that up into payments. We do have a couple of, we do have financial assistance. It does not pay for the whole thing. We do have some sponsorships, but we do also work with SSP, which is Student Sponsorship Partnership, which definitely helps as well. So, but we only take a handful of students from that. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'm trying to make sure I can leave enough time for everybody else because I could
Yeah, we'll
talk
hold the
whole
questions.
hour.
Try to hold the questions, put the questions in the
Okay.
chat.
Perfect.
Or let's just get through the presentations and then we can group them. Just put them in the chat. Our education directors will monitor them and share them at that point. So Jeffrey, if you can introduce,
Sure.
our next speaker.
I'd like to introduce Christopher Matistic. He is the director of
Well,
partnership
I suppose
schools.
if you can introduce, I'm sorry, Bianca first, because Chris will be doing the
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would like to introduce Bianca Salazar. She is joining us from Cristo Rey, and she is plays a huge part in admissions at Cristo Rey. So Bianca, feel free to introduce yourself and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bianca Salazar. I'm the admissions associate here at Cristo Rey New York High School. I'm also an alum, graduated in 2016, came back to work at Cristo Rey in 2001. So just want to introduce a little bit our school. Our school is a little unique. It has we are a Catholic co-ed college prep school. We're part of the National Cristo Rey Network. So there's other Cristo Rey schools in other states as well. There's also a Cristo Rey in Brooklyn. So we serve students of all faiths who have demonstrated the potential and motivation to achieve success and who do not have the educational background or financial means to attend another private college prep school. We do this through our corporate work study program. So something unique about our school is that our students go to school for 4 days, and 1 day of the week, they will be interning at a company. So companies like JP Morgan, Bank of America, Major League Baseball, Michael Kors. And what these companies do is that they help finance the students' tuition with that 1 day a week work that they do. Before I go into our corporate work study program, our academics, we offer math, English, science, history, religion, Spanish, music, arts, as well as AP Spanish language culture, AP Spanish literature, AP US history, AP English literature, and AP calculus. So our tuition, like I said, is reduced to $2,000 a year. That's the cost of our tuition. And this is thanks to our corporate works, student work through the Corporate Work City program, parents' contribution, and donations as well. So the maximum a family would pay for the student's tuition here at Cristo Rey would be $2,000 a year. And obviously, all parents have to apply to financial aid, and that tuition can diminish as well. To talk a little bit about our Corporate Work City program, every student is assigned to a job team. So every student beginning 9th grade to 12th grade are going to be working 1 day a week. All right, so we have around 100 companies in Manhattan. Our students are chaperoned by Cristo Rey staff members to the job site and meets them at the end of the workday as well. So the earnings that they're going to be doing are assigned to Cristo Rey to cover costs of tuition. So we obviously also have other extracurricular activities. So a lot of our clubs are started by our students. So every year they change. Our students make up their own clubs. Right now, what we have is choir, dance, drama, student ambassador, student council, yearbook, the running club, soccer. We also have various sports, which is soccer, baseball, basketball, volleyball, track as well. And the kind of students that we're going to be looking for is we're looking for students with a grade point average of 80 or higher, a student who is going to be 14 by the age on or before September 2005. So the reason for that is because of our Corporate Work Study program. The state of New York requires the students to be able to work to be 14 of age. So they have to be 14 before September 9, because once the first week of school starts, our students are off to their jobs. So we're also going to be looking for a student with a good record of attendance and discipline, a student who has recommendation letters from their 8th grade teacher, their math teacher, English teacher, and also from the principal or guidance counselor. We're looking for a student who understands and embraces the opportunity to attend a school that offers both a rigorous program as well as with a corporate work study experience. So the documents that we're going to be asking for, so we have our application, which is going to be you're going to be able to fill it out online. So if you go to our website, beginning in early September, we're going to be opening live our applications for the following school year. A copy of your 6th, 7th, and 8th grade report card, copy of your most recent state test scores, like I said, the recommendation letters, and a copy of your student's birth certificate. The way the admission process is here at Cristo Rey, once the application is completed and you submitted all the documents, the admissions and academic committee will review the student's application. After the admissions team and academic committee have reviewed your application, it will then be determined whether or not your student will be invited for an interview and assessment. The admissions office will call you at the time with further information. So just to remind families, we are not part of the tax exam, so you don't have to put Cristo Rey down in your tax exam. So we have our own admissions process, and everything's done online through our website. And just to remind you guys, or if you guys didn't know, we are having a 7th grade brunch June 1st, which is a Saturday. I'm gonna be able to share the flyer with you guys. It has a QR code. You're gonna be able to RSVP. We're gonna have great food. We're gonna have a lot of information and just how to be ready once the application opens, to have the documents that you're gonna be able to need, and also meet with a bunch of our current students and teachers as well. So that's all for Cristo Rey.
Okay, well, thank you, Bianca. Now I'm going to introduce really quickly Chris Matasic. He's the director of New York Partnership Schools. He can tell you what partnership schools are. There is another gentleman in the audience that will be one of our speakers in the coming sessions. If you see his face, there is Kevin Nichols from Level All. But if please, I want you guys to tune in next week, not next week, in 2 weeks, because this is a series, and really to get the most out of this is to really attend all the series. You would be an expert at the point of attending all 6 sessions, not only on all the different schools, but how to use the search engines like Level All and also how to take advantage of the support services we have for high school placement through our both buildings, Mr. Fisher and Mr. Jimenez from the Abbey and the Gary Clubhouse. So really, you're in good hands, but you definitely should make the effort to attend all 6 sessions to get the most out of all the choices that are out there. So with that, my mentee, Mr. Chris Matesic.
Thank you, Antonio. Yeah, so to be clear, the partnership schools are a consortium of Catholic grammar schools that we run independently of the Archdiocese. So we're not going to talk about the partnership schools today. We're going to talk about Catholic high school placement while we're all here. I also want to acknowledge my colleague, Emily Okupski, who's on my team, Director of School Support for us. But the theme of Catholic high school placement for us is access to excellence. And one of the measures of excellence is college placement rate. So most Catholic schools have about a 99% college placement rate. So if you go to a Catholic high school, your child will go to college. And if not, they'll be in some type of program post-secondary. So that's what makes that exciting. And we are very much appreciative of the Boys Club and the High School Access Program. And yes, I am a mentee of Mr. Antonio Opante. He's been doing this for decades, and we believe that all children should have access to excellence. So having said that, next slide. So really this work is about what is the vision that you have for your future Catholic high school placement. So this work is about vision, like about your children creating a vision for themselves, families, you have a vision for your child, and how can Catholic high school fulfill that vision? Our vision of Catholic high schools is places where you learn the values and habits that will maximize one's gifts and uplift an entire community. And we believe that regardless of religion, in a Catholic high school, they care about your soul, and that's ultimately your gift to the community, and that'll help you be successful in college and career. So the objectives for this mini little session is families will be able to name the key components of the Catholic high school readiness framework. There'll be no tests, so you know that's just the objective, and families will learn about the Catholic high school placement timeline. So that's most important. So I'm not going to get too deep into this, but this is something that we work with all of our schools, and particularly our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade families. But the foundation is really that excuse me, I have a little background noise, but the foundation of that formation, these core values of integrity, humility, hard work, and service, like there's something in your child that forms themselves in Catholic schools. And then the student agency. So the student agency is the power within your children or the students on the call. Is you got to bring yourself to the party. So it's academic excellence, it's engaging in enrichment programs and extracurricular activities. And then for us, high school placement. So you're researching schools, there's applications, there's financial aid, there's scholarship acceptances, registration. And then down the line is once you get into these wonderful schools, really going to the bridge programs and integrating yourself into the school freshman year. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So like we're very much big on freshman integration. So Catholic high school placement, and this is the timeline as we see it. So 6th and 7th graders, it's about being academically excellent in your school. So like nothing can transcend a lack of academic excellence. You have to do well in your school. There's test prep for the test to get into Catholic high school. So I know our colleague from St. Francis Prep mentioned the TAKS, that's the main one. There's a HSPT that is a scholarship exam for places like Xavier, Fordham Prep, Regis. And 6th and 7th grade, you're really taking that time for Catholic high school research. You're going to open houses, school visits. I know there's wonderful opportunities that we'll share more about, especially with the schools who are on with us tonight. Some schools have summer programs. Rising 8th grade summer, you're really doing that test prep, more Catholic high school research. One of the great programs is a higher achievement program at Fordham Prep and Xavier for boys. Fall of 8th grade, your first quarter will count towards your high school application. So we talk about more academic excellence. You're registering for these entrance exams, open houses, school visits. And this is just the TAKS. I know Cristo Rey is a separate process, but for the TAKS schools, you want to have your top 3 based in true order of preference of really the schools you want to go to 1, 2, and 3. We mentioned about some financial aid opportunities with the SSP. And then 8th grade winter, January acceptances. We talk about financial aid, your scholarships, and creating a tuition plan. No matter what, you have to invest in the Catholic high school. I mean, I think the folks on this call will tell you that it's a tremendous value add for your child and their future. but you will have to invest some type of money by way of tuition. So this is just organizing your high school research. This is something we integrated with our kids in our school. We have a Google spreadsheet. We call it the HEART, which is the High School Excellence Application Readiness Tracker. And this is just, you're putting down the schools you're interested. And the most important question we ask is, what interests you about the school? And we just want it to be something meaningful for the students. So, if it's sports, if it's their performing arts program, if it's their service program, if it's like Crystal Ray, opportunity to work, whatever it is, we want it to be meaningful. What we're not looking for, though, are those answers like, oh, my cousin went there. Because that may have been a great fit for your cousin. Maybe your cousin was a great baseball player and they went to a Catholic high school and they played in the major leagues, but you're not a baseball player, so maybe that school wouldn't be a great fit for you. So we don't want it to be like my cousin's going there, or my friend went there, or I like the school colors, or they have cool uniforms, because that stuff is not as meaningful as what can really have you be there and be successful. So we talk about enrichment program partnerships. Obviously, for the boys, what you have here with the high school access program, they've been doing it for decades. Tremendous program that we want all of our boys to be a part of. We talk about the higher achievement program, and then just some stuff that the schools offer. CYO sports. Catholic high schools are big on sports. I like this slide. I do this slide every time I lead a presentation. Many students, one intention: excellence in high school placement. So we don't want everybody to be the same arrow. Everyone gets to be their own arrow, their own vision, but the overarching arrow is excellence. This is something that you want to bring excellence to. You want to bring your best, because where you go to high school will dictate your life trajectory. I think that's probably why folks like Jeffrey and Antonio, and myself, and our wonderful colleague Dionysus from Flushing, is that we know how meaningful it is, because the stakes are high. It's really life or no life trajectory. So we got to be excellent through this process, really give your best. So how do you access excellence in New York City, our wonderful city, which we love? New York City is probably the most competitive high school placement city on the planet. And how you be successful is you got to be in the early market. You got to be ahead of the curve. If you flow back to the mainstream when it comes to high school placement, things will not go well for you. So you got to be early and often to access high school placement. You got to be ahead of the curve. High school placement partnership. This is with your grammar schools, or with your programs, or with what we do at partnership schools. But you could say school program. We provide opportunities. So Boys Club, Antonio, the team has provided opportunity to learn about Catholic high schools. But as families, you take the ownership of the opportunity. We provide guidance, but it's your agency. You're the ones that are going to do the work. We facilitate. We support, but you generate it, and we will give you our counsel from our experience, but it's a vision that you create for yourself, and we work in alignment. What we found is that creates the most success. So we got to work with alignment. You got to do your part, we do our part, and then together the vision manifests. So these are just some resources. I'm sorry, St. Francis Prep, I had no idea you coming on. Like, I don't know when the October date is, but that's a wonderful opportunity. But these are two. Obviously, you have Bianca here from Crystal Ray. Crystal Ray is an extraordinary place. I know Bianca was sharing about it, but beyond their work study program, Crystal Ray probably has one of the best college placement programs in the city. So that's there as well. And obviously, St. Francis Prep is super awesome. All Hallows is going co-ed. For 7th grade girls, you'll be able to apply to All Hallows this fall. And so that's exciting for the Bronx. This is Harlem. Obviously, St. Francis Prep is an awesome experience in Queens. And that's really where we are. So I mean, this slide is really for all the panel. I do want to just bring in my colleague, Ms. Okupski. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you said it all, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Cups. Yeah, so I just want to open it up. Obviously, we're here, but the most important thing is that you guys create a vision for yourself when it comes to Catholic high school placement, and what can we do to support that vision? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. And as the slide represents, it's time for questions. So I hope that you have some questions. This is a great opportunity to really speak to the experts, people that do this every day. And I have a quick question just to get it going. College prep, when does it begin in schools, or at least in St. Francis, or just as a whole at Catholic schools, if you know, but as it applies to your school, does it start early? Does it start in the junior year? When do you feel that you start college prep?
We start college prep from the moment they walk in the door.
Okay.
It's not from when you used to. So your averages, it's your overall grade point average that gets money for college. So it doesn't start like this whole rumor of junior year. It starts from the moment you walk in the door. So you're putting that bar high, reaching goals, and just keep going is what we tell our students. That it's not, oh, junior is my important year. It doesn't happen like that anymore, because someone who gets an 89 and someone who gets a 91 is going to get different money in college.
Okay. One more question on my end. You in particular, St. Francis, because you mentioned that you offer task, prep. Is that offered to everyone, or only those that express an interest? I mean, is that a community offering, or just?
It's a community offering. We don't have a junior high, so it goes so our summer programs that we have for our junior high and our elementary students, one of them is tax prep. We also have one in the fall that is open. You just go onto our website and you go up to summer at SFP, and you will see all the stuff, all the information for all the courses that we provide for the elementary and junior high students.
Right, and that's regardless if they apply to St. Francis Prep. It's really just
Regardless.
A community. Okay,
it's just a community. It does fill up quickly because
can imagine.
We try to keep it reasonable, of course.
I have a question. This question is for Chris and also all of our experts. What is a way that an aspiring Catholic high school student could stand out? Some of the primary ways that you all have seen aspiring Catholic high school students stand out.
Yeah, that's a great question. This is simple but often overlooked, and I know this has been a struggle with some of our candidates for Cristo Rey. But a simple way to stand out is to have excellent attendance and being on time. Excellent attendance and being on time, because I know Ms. Schaefer would say, like say you have a kid who's got maybe like a 75 average or so, but we know they're a hardworking kid and they have perfect attendance and they show up every day and they want to be in school. Then that director of admissions can say, I can give this kid a shot. Whereas opposed, like it's a kid got like 75 average, they have like 10 absences, they're late 15 times. And quite honestly, just me as director of high school placement, I can't even advocate for that, because it's like the question is, does this kid want to go to school? Well, why would I give a kid in this? And these two schools are very sought after. Why would I want to give a kid a spot in our school? So before we get too complex, attendance and being on time.
I just would like to jump in with something. And as Antonio, thank you for mentioning, we're a partner of BCNY, and Level All's an online resource. And one of the things that families can use it for, it's free, to take this knowledge that you're getting from these experts and then using it as part of the process, right? In concert with everything that you have the opportunity to learn and get at the two houses from the educational directors. So that's that part. But I want to speak as a parent right now. So my daughter is finishing her freshman year at Notre Dame School of Manhattan, downtown Catholic school. I grew up in New Jersey and went to Assumption School, the Blessed Virgin Mary, right? I had no thoughts about sending my daughter to Catholic school, okay? But she was in a K-8 school, and the high school placement advisor there was really talking about a couple of the all-girls Catholic schools. And one of the things my wife and I were very focused on was getting the best educational and growth experience that would allow us to really save money to put toward college, right? And we're all trying to figure out how to deal with that number. But one of the things you might see is that there are a number of fantastic schools in this country, certainly, and in this city, where the cost is 5 or 6 times the amount that you've heard from some of these Catholic schools. And I can tell you, as somebody who was a teacher for 20 years, most of those in independent schools, and that's a great experience. I'm not here to say anything about it, but what I want to point out is the type of experience a student can have, an in-depth learning and growth experience, a community experience, one where, right, Chris, you were saying a child does not have to be Catholic, right? Lisa was saying this, but it is about who are you as a person and understanding those values that all of us as parents are very focused on. And so, you know, it can be a really fantastic environment, particularly thinking about, Chris, what you were saying about how families can approach the process to find the best fit for the child. And it's an incredible springboard. I'm seeing it as a parent 100%. And I think if you could pull across, you know, a number of Catholic school parents, even some who went into that high school placement process thinking Catholic school's not on my radar, and then they see like, wow, it's really been something. So I just wanted to add that piece.
And the one thing I just want to add, if I could just, Jeff, because Jeffrey, I was thinking about it. You know, one of the things I think we went through like a little bit of like a standardized test, not so important. Now it's important. The reality is, not for Cristo Rey, but for the other Catholic high schools, the tax exam is what they see first. And so the truth is, if you do very well in tax exam, like 90 plus percentile, you will get merit scholarship to the schools off the bat before you fill out any financial aid forms. The tax exam, in my estimation, is it's pretty straightforward, but if you don't get good prep and you're not ready for the particulars of the exam, you will not do excellent on it. So really, tax prep is at a premium. Obviously, St. Francis Prep offers that. A lot of schools offer it. But that's the first thing they see. So if you do excellent, you can get merit scholarship. If you bomb the tax exam, then it becomes like a can of worms. It becomes like the questions are you able to do the work in the school? So the tax, I would say, is the first step in standing out.
Help out a little bit. So I don't know if you know with the public schools, if you're looking into that, you know, there's such a mix up, and not that I'm saying anything negative to the public schools, but especially this year, so many candidates have come in that they thought with the lottery system they would definitely get a school, and they are 95 higher average students, and you know, they did not get a placement into a specialized high school. You know, years ago it worked, but they did not. So what's happening is now they thought they would have a school, and now they don't have one to go to that they want to go to. So taking the tax test, there is a cost for it, but it's definitely another, you know, safety net, even if you get into a specialized high school or a school that you like to get into. But if you don't take that tax, you may not be able to get into a Catholic high school, or like, you know, some of these students could have received scholarships if they took that test. And with that being said, which I noticed on Chris's thing, the placement slides, the placement of where you put the schools first, second, and third does matter. So, you know, when you're looking at schools by what you like and where you feel is your home for 4 years, I definitely would say put the school that you think you really want to go to. Like, so for us, we give approximately 150 scholarships out. Some are full, some are partial, and it determines by your final tax score, but what it is only by people who put us first. Okay, so I don't want people to miss out on that and to know what each school does. So those are some questions to go and ask when you're going to schools. How many scholarships do they give? You know, do they give to first, second, and third? You know, what's the scores you have to get? For us, which I was so glad that Chris did say this, was we don't give, we have what's called waitlist interviews. So any child who has excessive latenesses or absences and conduct, we look at all of that. So if you want to stand out, that is totally a way of standing out and making sure that you have the grade. So for us, you know, our school is never open for the elite. Yes, we have very high intelligent kids there, but I do, you know, kids come in and their maturity gets them better as they go along. If you put them in with a bunch of students who want to work, it happens. But, you know, I want to just make sure that I give a seat to somebody that I know can do the work. And that's looking at attendance, looking at conduct, looking if they're handing in their work, and that's by their grades. So it's not always 90 and above, but scholarships, you do have to have 90 and above in your classes.
So my next question was for Kevin. Kevin, as a parent, you know, of a Catholic high school student, what are some of the benefits that you've observed in your child?
One of the benefits is that the girls at our school, now the school is located on 13th and Greenwich Avenue. It's very close to the 14th Street stop for the A, the C, the L, right? So there are kids there from New Jersey, Staten Island, Long Island, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, and it's not the only school where that's the case. And so, you look at a lot of Catholic schools, like people will come from kind of all around, or it could be the neighborhood, but it's just that she's seeing and meeting girls from different neighborhoods, and she really likes that. She finds that there are lots of people that the environment's very down to earth. And so there isn't a sense of, I'm elite because I live in this kind of building and I've got all of this stuff, right? It's more just, hey, we're all here trying to do this thing. Our family isn't Catholic, and she has really enjoyed her freshman theology class. Her freshman theology teacher is one of her favorite teachers, because so much is tied to who are you as this person, this young woman, right? Like, and they look at these important cornerstones and pillars of character and integrity, and they talk about it in a very real way, right? So the things that they're talking about, she feels like, and my wife and I feel like, are things that, what does a teenager in 2024 need to know and in New York City can put into practice, right? So they're not only talking in terms of up at 30,000 feet, like only concepts and not real life day-to-day things. And I know from my work at Level All, we have a partnership with the Archdiocese, and so we talk to a lot of folks at a lot of the different Catholic schools, and these are, you hear similar types of things, right? And similar things that were said, Chris, you've talked about, Bianca talked about, Lisa talked about, that I see as a parent, that it's really helping her look inside and then think of how she want to grow. Then, what are you contributing to this community of young people? So they really get across the idea, and Chris was speaking to this, that for me to push myself does not mean that I have to hold the next person back, right? That it's there to be had for all of us, and that all of us as part of this school, we're all getting after it. Chris, you had the slide of all the arrows going in the same direction. So they can be individuals, right? The school doesn't want them to be robots. And I think you'd find the same thing of the different, if I could speak for the Catholic schools, I think you'd find a similar mindset. But one of the things that comes to the fore that my wife and I are really keyed into, and it takes a lot of the social stress off for my daughter, is they feel like if you're at Notre Dame, right, you're all pulling on the oars together when you're trying to get to success. That, Chris, you were talking about that drive for excellence. Lisa was talking about, you want to get kids who want to be around other kids who are pushing themselves hard, right? Crystal Ray, there's this sort of deep set value of being a part of something bigger. You're doing this work once a day. Like, so those are some of the things that I see.
Kevin, just so you know, I live in Long Island. I brought my kids out of Long Island schools to go into a Queens Catholic school. And it wasn't just because I, thought it was a better education. I did, but I wanted that for years, that Catholic school upbringing. And it definitely matured them in 4 years, more than I can ever imagine.
Right. That the foundation is very, very strong. And I think you need to have that.
Right. And it did it for me. I knew what it did for me. For someone who didn't want to go there, I don't say my college made me. I always say St. Francis Prep made me who I am. It gave me my foundation, my values, who I wanted to be as a person, and an individual person.
Right.
I just want to add that what comes through is through the service projects of all the schools. So every single Catholic high school has a service component. So when the young people learn how to serve from their heart, something forms. So it's not like I think I love Kevin putting, like, it's not conceptual, it's actually learning to serve. And I walk the talk. I have 3 kids. My son's a sophomore. I own a prep, but it's really, I'm so proud to have my kids that learn how to serve, because my belief in life, if you want to have a successful life, you got to learn to serve. When you learn to serve, you have a full life. And that's the Catholic high schools believe in that.
I did want to add for all the parents on the call that we will also be having some tax prep in addition to
Wow.
for the other exams over the summer. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that as well. If you don't get into SFP first.
Yeah, and I might as well put a plug for BCNY. I mean, we're doing these to obviously educate the community, similar to Lisa with the task prep. You know, it's open to everyone. This is open to members of the Boys Club, but we also have a community focus. I mean, these things are open to everyone. And by coming to the Boys Club, we just help you with the process to connect you to many of the schools and the partnership schools that are being mentioned and represented today. Again, we try to cover every single choice. You know, our vision is that everyone has choices. Everyone should know about all their choices and then make a wise choice based on that, a wise decision based on that. And we'll support the process and walk you through the process, because the process of public school is different than specialized, it's different than charter, it's different than boarding or day, it's different than parochial school. But understanding that just gives you more options. Yeah, so parents, I mean, I hope you have any more questions, because if not, this is, like I said, this is a time to do that. I do have one quick question on the Chris DeRay. I'm always amazed at the program of internships. I think that's so important, to be introduced to careers. And does that start in the freshman year?
Yeah, so it starts freshman year. So what happened is that when the student is accepted, we do a bridge program, a 3-week program in July, and it's called Puente. So they get to be taught what it is to work at an office setting. They get taught how to write an email, how to answer phone calls professionally, different scenarios. We go through them as well. And they also start earning their certification in Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And they begin with a job the beginning of freshman year all the way through senior year. So the students are given a survey based on their interests, and we try to match them as possible, as much as we can. But if anything, what we want them to get out of it is to be able to understand what it is to work in a professional setting, as well as creating some network opportunity for them as well.
Sorry, I was muted trying to find the unmute button. I'm going back to college prep real quick. You say I know it starts from day one. I mean, we talk about that all the time with our young people. As soon as you step, your foot into high school, the college clock begins. But do you support the families? Do you meet with them individually? Do you offer test prep for students? Are you looking at all colleges for them, or are you focusing on Catholic colleges? How extensive, or what can you share about the whole college prep journey?
We're a true college preparatory, so we have a lot of help. Some is additional cost, some is not. So we start vocabulary building. We have done this even when I went to school, starting freshman year, and that is really ranged just for college, but SAT, college, that old school of just broadening your vocabulary to help with stuff. So we have that. Some AP classes start also in freshman year, but most of them start in junior year. College credit does start in junior year. Unlike a lot of schools, we do PSAT for 2 years in a row. So that's, the practice SAT. So we do it's mandatory in sophomore year and junior year for our students. We have a huge college fair where we actually have to turn away colleges there because we just don't have enough room for them in our building, and they're from all over. So they're private, they are public, city, state, and then we also have Catholic high school colleges as well. We also have colleges there from September to probably about, they take a break March, where at all the lunch times. So we'll have anywhere from 2 to 4 colleges a day. sitting outside, so any child could go to them to talk to them about their college. We do a financial night for our juniors, so the juniors know that. And what we have done is, years ago, we realized college was changing in the way you apply to school. So we were realizing kids were getting very upset mentally and having a very hard time, especially in the September, October, November, getting all their applications in. So we started a week-long boot camp that we do in the summer for our students. It is additional cost. It's like $300, but they have guidance personnel, English teachers there, and they're doing all their essays, their Common Apps, and their regular applications, and getting everything done in the summer as much as they can, so that they're not having so much on their workload and taking a lot of that stress off of them, teaching them that management of time. But our guidance counselors stay with them for 4 years. And in our freshman year, we talk about what we think they would like to do as one of the main topics. Sophomore year, really, when they're going into courses, they start looking at colleges right away, just because each college requires different things from students. You know, who wants, 3 years of language, who wants 2 years of language, and we try to work our curriculum and how we planned it out into making sure they're meeting as many colleges as they can. And we do that also with our athletes, because in sophomore year, they have to have so many, if they're looking to play sports for NCAA, and we have a thing for them just in general. So we are prepping through the whole time with a balance, though, of making sure they enjoy high school as much as well.
With parents and families who might be struggling financially, do you work with them and support them? Can they appeal if they needed more money? How much do you support, and not make that as big of a barrier than we know that it can be?
Are you talking for high school or for college?
I'm talking about high school. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So, because I just explained also in college, colleges have gotten astronomical. So we do have a big conversation with our kids about cost of college and not going into debt for college. So that's another conversation we have a lot of conversations about, because, some of these colleges, they're $80,000 a year. And we just say, that there are so many other programs out there, and we introduce different things to them. For us, we do have financial assistance. It is about $1,000 to $1,200 a year. Now our tuition is $10,000. The problem is that we don't get federal funding from New York State. So New York State and the city, it was just on the news, pays $39,000 in the year 2025 for their students. So, we do have some SSP, but like I said, that's a handful, and that's a great program for helping students, and parents pay for that. And then we do have sometimes more financial assistance, but that we can't promise until, we are a large tradition of schools. So sometimes we will get donors who give some money back to us, but it's usually around November is when they give that out. It's called the Christmas Angels. And you write a letter, but there is still, a commitment and investment into it for us. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without tuition.
Thank you. So again, to the audience, if there are any other questions, hopefully everyone can put their information on the chat. We will be sharing this. We will be sending to everyone that's registered information on all the sessions. A list of the panelists, some links that we may have discussed that you might have missed. And also remember that we'll be providing these services and support services through the summer, touching upon it. But we'll discuss that in the next few weeks, but also going harder in the fall when the actual process does kick off. So, really be part of the village that we offer to support you on all these choices. And before I leave, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here. We had a nice audience, and I'm very happy about that. And next week, just to plug next week, we will have, the topic will be boarding and day private schools. And I'll be sending stuff and posting stuff to give you a little background, but they are boarding.
And Tony, I think that's in 2 weeks, right? Correct?
Well, next week is boarding and day, and then the following week is going to be family advocacy.
Got it.
And then the last week, where we're going to have Kevin, is how to utilize the summer and what we're planning to do in partnership with Level All and yourself and others, partners, how we're going to utilize the summer, building momentum towards the fall when it really kicks off for eighth graders at that time, you know. And also outliers, because the one thing with all these schools, entry point is 8th grade to 9th, except for the boarding schools. Boarding schools are the only ones that can be outliers. And we'll discuss that next week. But again, thank you. Jeffrey, Dionis, bring it home, as they say.
Dionis, you want to go? I can do it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today for this wonderful overview of high school placement, parochial schools across New York City. Thank you so much to our panel and for everyone who joined us. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris, Kevin, Lisa, Bianca, everyone. Thank you very much.
For having me.
Have a great
Have
Memorial
a
Day
great
weekend.
night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have the rest of your day, everyone. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll end the meeting for everyone. All righty, good night all.